Good morning to student. The last topic in unit number 4 and lesson number 9. The topic is project crashing. Before going to know the deep and detailed information regarding to project crashing, first of all, we should need what is the meaning of a project crashing. Practically, sometimes the owner of the project is asking or demanded, please complete the project before contract date. That means agreed date. Why? Because due to owner problems and his convenience. In such a situation, the project contractor, that means the project manager, can use the project crashing technique. Project crashing is very much important to maintain the investment as well as the project duration. Whenever you have completed the project within a stipulated period or before the estimated period, then you will be goes to get the some extra benefits. That means you will be goes to minimize the installation expenditure at the project. So, project crashing is optimum reduction of project duration is known as project crashing without changing the total period of the project. That means it is a technique which can be used to compress the project duration. Compress means to decrease. For example, in a one activity, estimated duration is 6 days. Yes, according to using of project crashing, the 6 days will be reduced as may be possible manner. 6 days decreased by 1 day goes to 5 days, or 6 days decreased by 2 days, it goes to 4 days, like that. This is known as project crashing. That is, it is the technique to use when fast tracking has saved activity time on the schedule. It is a technique in which resources are added to the project for the least cost possible. That means here tracking has saved the activity. That means the already activity duration is it will go to save. That means minimized on the total schedule. The resources are added. If needed, the resources are added for fast tracking of the project completion with the provision of least cost with a possible manner. Further, cost and schedule trade-offs are analyzed to determine how to obtain the greatest amount of compression for the least incremental cost. That means trade-offs, that means between cost and time, between trade-off, that means relation. One is relating with others is called a trade-off, which can be analyzed. How to obtain the greatest amount or greatest period of compression or reduction in project duration by the meaning of incremental cost. When the project crashing is carried by a project manager, the resources will be added or sometime or less. This is known as trade-offs. Crashing is a schedule compression technique used to reduce or shorten the project schedule. Diagrammatic representation of project crashing. Now here two options. First option is rise in cost if project is crashed. Whenever cost is raising, here. Immediately we should go to coming this one. And here again raising in cost if project is prolonged, where here cost is raised, the duration is prolonged here, going like this. Whenever this is come to a optimum reduction and again start with the increment, this curve, this is a here crashing duration, this is a here crashing cost. Optimum cost means crashing cost, optimum duration means crashing duration. Both you will go to obtain with a grammatical, that means graphical representation. Let us go to know the procedure, steps involved for project crashing. if you want to go to reduce the project duration at any activity without changing of total project duration, you will be goes to follow some steps. Otherwise, there is no correct or reliable project creation, which leads to failure. Then the project duration goes to delay, or the money is not cooperated, where you are lose the goodwill of the company. On the basis of those pros and cons, we will go to adopted some procedure or steps to involve the better project crashing procedure. The first step, identify the critical path. You draw the network diagram according to the given information. Then you will go to identify critical path. Critical path means the largest duration in the network diagram. That means it is a critical and having a more duration and prolonged activity, which will be goes to identified. That is, find the normal critical path and identify the critical activity with the help of normal time of the project activities. That means first of all you will goes to calculate the normal time. This is available in the given problem. Problem is like that. While if you want to go to crashing, that means reduce the project duration. The project is normal time, normal cost, crashing time and crashing cost. Now you are taking the normal time while you are drawing the network diagram. That is, this will help you determine which tasks can be shortened to bring the project to a close sooner. Therefore, if you haven't already calculate your critical path, see which tasks are essential and which are secondary to the project success. Whenever we identify the critical path, immediately the question to be raised. The critical path duration will be reduced to next largest path duration. For example, 3 paths are there in a one project. Critical path is 26 days. Next longest path is 20 days. Next longest path is 18 days. Now 20 days reduced to first of all 20 days. Here 4 days reduced. The 4 days reduced is called redemption. Reduced is called redemption. That is, this will help to determine which tasks can be shortened. That means, with the help of the comparison of 2 paths, highest path compare the next highest path. That is called crashing. The second step, identify tasks. There are multiple tasks are appeared in a network diagram to complete the total project work. First of all, identify the tasks. Tasks in the sense, what are the total tasks in a network diagram? What is the nature of each task? Task means activity. These tasks are verified with reference to how the one task is compressed. Which task is compressed? This can be arranged with the help of the largest path. And crashing table with reference to path and cost slope. Where the path is having a less cost slope, first of all, such activity to be reduced. Such activity to be identified. That is, get a list of all the tasks you have. Then meet those who have been assigned to complete them. Ask if they believe any of the tasks they are responsible for are in the critical path and can be cut down. Then start looking for ways to tighten up those tasks. That means, first of all, highest path is identified. In highest path, there are some activities. Which activity to be cut it at first? On the basis of the least cost slope. That is, identify tasks, get a list of all the tasks you have. Then meet with those who have been assigned to complete them. Ask if they believe any of the tasks they are responsible for are in the critical path and can be cut down. Then start looking for ways to tighten up those tasks. This is a very much important remembrance while assigning of the duties with respect to identify the tasks. Assign to complete them. If you want to go to assign the crashing, first of all, identify the tasks or list of tasks with reference to critical path. The third one or third step is what's the trade-off, that means the relation between the two, which is depending on which. That is, once you have making some identification of tasks, then it will go to which activity is depending on other activity, which activity is linked with the other activity. These all are identified. Why? Because if you want to go to make a crashing, that means reduce the activity duration. First of all, the relationship to be identified. Relationship with respect to interrelation and as well as the cost slope relation. That is, once you are narrowed down the task in the critical path that you believe can be shortened, start calculating how much adding more resources will cost. Find the tasks that can be allocated additional resources and come in sooner with the least amount of strain in your budget. That means generally if you want to go to reduce the project duration, the cost of investment to be increased. How much amount of cost to be increased? This can be made a relationship between the cost and time is known as a trade-off. Further, thus the decision to reduce the project duration must be based on an analysis of the trade-off between time and cost. Relationship between time and cost. Time is based on cost, cost is based on time, like that. Project crashing is a method for shortening project duration by reducing the time of one or more of the critical project activities to a time that is less than the normal activity time. That means in the given problem, normal time is given. The normal time to be crashed. Crash means reduced. The normal time to reduce as may be possible. That means to the extent of the activity to be less with reference to cut some duration with a systematic manner. Next step, take your choice. That means there are multiple paths are obtained addition to critical path. Then take a choice. Which path is taking at the crashing? Which path is taking first at the crashing? Generally, the critical path will be crashed with the next highest path in the diagram. Majority of the cases. Then it will go to choose like that. Or sometimes when some other project managers can also take any path to crash the critical path. Generally, the critical path duration crashed with the next highest path duration. This is a choice. That is, when you have what you will have to spend, which includes compared to how much time you will save. That is, for each of the tasks in your critical path, you must make a decision and choose the least expensive way forward. Project crashing is not just adding resources to get done faster, but it's getting the most in returns for that extra expense. Here, one logic is there. Generally, whenever you reduce the project duration, expenses are more. Here also, condition or a precaution taken over by the project manager while reducing the project cost. That is, the resources are also done with a less amount. Against fast tracking of the project duration. Why? Because if you want to go to get the returns or benefit, it is a general logic, the expenses are controlled. In addition to, expense control is the process of monitoring, tracking and controlling the actual cost of any construction project. That means how to maintain the expenses, it is a process. It is only possible monitoring, observing, controlling, tracking, listening and accounting, all are taking steps to control the cost, particularly in the construction project. This includes, that means expensive control includes, first one, monitoring cost performance. That means how much cost is incurred, how it will be goes to control, how it will be goes to minimize, how to analyze the reliable cost and a non-reliable cost, how much expenditure was taken as a wastage, how to list out the cost, what is the rate of cost, what is the comparison, both costs, previous and present. These are all comes under the meaning of a monitoring cost performance. Next one is ensuring all changes are correctly submitted. That means proofs regarding to expenses. Once an item was purchased, what is the bill? Is going to be listed. It can be taken a tick mark. Is called correctly submitted. And ensuring any changes. What is the reason? Previously, the project installation expenses are 2 lakhs. Now it is 2,50,000. 50,000 extra. How it is possible? This is called ensuring all the changes with reference to past experience. Announcing any changes and impact to cost to project stakeholders. Wherever the expenses has increased or decreased, both are happened. Common. This information is given to stakeholders, that means who are relating to the project, maybe a owner, maybe a public, maybe a staff, maybe any other suppliers, etc. etc. where you will go to announcing. Why? Because where they will go to get a better understanding on your project. It is very easy to get the further commitments to them, to avoid the cheating, to make a better confidence, better image on our project management. The next step, calculate the cost slope. This is very much important if you want to go to determine the cost of a project at a decreased amount of duration. This can be calculated with an appropriate formula. Both are required. While crashing one activity, you must be calculate total duration and total cost. For example, 20 days decreases to 18 days. Okay, no problem. Whenever you have decreased the 18 days, how much cost to be incurred? This can also be estimated. While estimating the cost slope is can also determined. That is, calculate the cost slope for the different activities by using the following formula. Cost slope equal to crash cost minus normal cost by crash time minus normal time. This is a formula. Please remember, this is very much important while doing the coming problem. Further, the cost sloping indicates the extra cost required to expedite an activity per unit of time. Whenever you are decreasing the project, how much cost to be incurred, extra cost to be incurred, extra cost to be reduced. These all are appeared with reference to cost slope in each and every activity. That is, cost slope is defined as a ratio of difference between crash cost and normal cost and difference between normal time and crash time. The same as included in the above formula. Further, crash time is the time taken by the activity when additional resources, overtime and other special resources are taken to speed up the activity. Means here, crash time is whenever you are compressed, that means reduce the time, in additional resources are generally required or overtime is required, other special measures are required. Those all are included within the meaning of a cost slope to speed up the activity and fast tracking of the project duration. Next step is ranking. That means ranking of the paths. Highest path first ranking, next highest path second ranking, next highest path third ranking, next highest path fourth ranking. If it is a large problem, there are more than 4 or 5 paths are available. These paths are crashed, that means reduced until all paths are crashed. There is no further crashing. Once the activity was crashed, it should not be again crashed. That is a condition, which includes rank the activities in the ascending order of the cost slope. That means according to the cost slope, the activities are ranked. First of all, least cost slope, first rank. Second, least cost slope, second rank, like that. The activity have the minimum cost slope have to be crashed first. That means the minimum cost slope activity is crashed first. Crash the selected activity to its minimum duration. To obtain the minimum duration, it will goes to identified in the coming problem. These following are also considered if you want to go to making a ranking. That is, divide the longer activities into smaller blocks in order to concentrate more work in a shorter period of time. Yes, divide the longer activities. Heavy longer activities are reduced into smaller blocks. Yes, that is the purpose of the project crashing. Automatically it will be happen. Why? Because the work will be completed with a shorter period. That is, reduce latency times between one activity and another. That means in case a activity is having a late, already we know technical word is a float. This float can be identified or maximum reduced to take the steps taken over by the efficiency of the project manager or knowledge of the persons. Review the scope of the project in order to eliminate the tasks considered less important. In any less importance is there, activities are there which will go to be eliminated, is not taken with consideration. Highest path and highest duration is taken into consideration. Least duration should not be taken into consideration. The next step is create a budget. We have decided to reduce the project duration. It is not a simple. If you want to go to compress the project duration, first of all, money to be required, finance to be required. In addition to finance and other resources that can also required. For example, manpower required, technology required, collaboration required, etc. These all are making it ready, which will go to make a separate plan, can be called a budget. If you want to go to crash, that is, like any project, once you have decided and your plan means ready to crash, reduce the project duration, you have to pay for it. Pay means if you want to go to make a cost. Making a project crashing, budget is next step in executing and executing your project crashing plan. You will have to update your baseline, schedule and resource plan to align with your new initiative. If you want to go to new idea, new compression, immediately it is a need of resources, particularly financial resources, those budgets to be planned at first or automatically, simultaneously. Further, the project budget will include such things as labor cost, material procurement cost and operating cost. The budget, already said, budget regarding to finance, budget regarding to labor, budget regarding to material, budget regarding to operating expenses, etc. Prepare the budget. But it's not a static document. For example, it is not a fixed. Fixed means, example, in last project, these expenses, operating expenses are 1 lakh. The 1 lakh is not at all same in this project. It is not static. It will go to change according to the nature and according to the time compression. That means crashing. That is, your budget will be reviewed and revised throughout the project. Hopefully, with the help of a project budgeting software. If you want to go to make a clear budget, optimum budget, it will go to revise it, it will go to updated according to the situation, according to the needs of the project crashing by the project owner. Nowadays, the project budgeting software is also used by the project manager. It is a very easy to know how much budget is required with reference to reduce the cost of time. The another step is make a crashing procedure. Start the crashing procedure. Crashing means The highest path is reduced to lowest path. The highest path is 26 days. Next lowest path is 24 days. The 26 days first of all reduced to 24 days. Here 2 days are crashing. 2 days decrease. This is a procedure to be adopted until all paths are having a equal duration. First option. Second option is this crashing is going up to all activities are already crashing, but there is no second crashing. These are the two options if you want to go to complete the problem, complete the crashing. That is, crash the activities in the critical path as per the ranking. That means highest and lowest. Activity having lower cost slope would be crashed at first, where you are having a highest path, then many activities are there. Which activity can crash at first? Yes. Which activity is having a less cost slope? That activity attempt to first, reduce first. Calculate the new direct cost by cumulating, adding the cost and crashing to the normal cost. That means you will go to make a calculate the total cost, where if you have reduced once, immediately calculate the total cost. It will go to explain while doing the coming problem. After identifying the critical path, then you already know which activity will affect the project deadline with adding resources to one of the activities on the critical path. Identify the critical path which will go to reduce and automatically trade-off procedure to be adopted. Trade-off procedure means time reduced, immediately cost can be increased. Interrelation. The duration refers to real time to completion of that activity and not working hours. Working hours may actually go up when you crash a project because new resources will be needed. The next step, parallel crashing. Yes, sometimes if you want to go to make a parallel crashing, that means one path through other paths also become critical. Two paths are critical. In such situation, the highest path is taking into the critical path. First, one path is a critical path consisting of 30 days. The another path is having a critical path consisting of 30 days, which is taking into consideration. The highest activities path is taking into consideration. First path is having 3 activities. Second path is having 4 activities. Now second path of 4 activities is taking into consideration. That is called parallel crashing. As the critical path duration is reduced by crashing, one path to another path also become critical. We get the parallel critical path. This means that the project duration can be reduced only by simultaneous crashing activity on the parallel critical path. 2 or more critical path activities which can be run parallel to each other, it helps the project manager in identifying the most critical elements of the project. It gives a practical and disciplined base which helps in determining how to reach the objectives. This is 2 or more critical paths are appeared. Immediately it is a person which path is taking a crashing at first. It helps to making of a identification of most critical elements. That means more activities in the holiday itself. This path is taking into consideration for crashing. Next, total cost. That means calculation of total cost. Whenever we have decided one activity is crashed according to preparation of a crashing table. Crashing table is explaining relationship between activity and cost slope. Later, we will go to explain. Then he will go to calculate the total cost. How much cost to be required when you have reduced one activity. That is, crashing as one reaches a point when further crashing is either not possible or does not result in the reduction or crashing or project duration, or the different project durations total cost is found up to total cost is got by adding corresponding fixed cost to the direct cost, and the direct cost is got by adding the expenditure crashing cost cumulative to the normal cost. This is a procedure which will go to take this consideration. While calculating the total cost, fixed cost, that means indirect cost can also take into consideration, which it means adding of the expenditure. Formula is Total cost equal to total normal cost plus critical duration into indirect cost. Indirect cost is available in the problem. If there is no indirect cost, leave it. Plus crashing duration into cost slope. This is a formula to calculate the total cost. Let us go to do the one problem. How to reduce the cost of a cost and time of a project. Optimum reduction in project duration is called project crashing. Example. See, calculate the optimum reduction of the project. Optimum reduction means crash. Where indirect cost is rupees 2000 per day. Indirect cost can also called as fixed cost. Problem is given like this always. Activity is like this, normal cost into normal time, normal cost. Crash time, crash gap. Problem is given like this. In all times, problem is given like that. Answer, solution. Whenever problem has given like this, first of all, you will be forced to calculate cost slope. These are same activity, normal cost, crashing time, crash cost. Cost slope. Already we are having a above formula. Cost slope equal to crash cost minus normal cost by normal time minus crash time. Here, crash cost 2000 minus 1000 by 4 minus 3, it gives 1000. Like that, we have calculated. This is the total normal cost. This is very much important. Very much important. Let us go to prepare the network diagram. This is a network diagram with the help of the normal time. You see here, this is a normal time. 1-2, normal time is 4. 1-2, normal time is 4. 1-3, 2-4, 3-4, 4-5, 2-5. We have prepared the network diagram. Next, various paths of network diagram. Calculate the path. First path, this one. 9. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. 9. Second path, 8. Third path, 7. Now, first reduce 9 days to 8 days. If you want to reduce 9 to 8, 1 day decrease is necessary. In technical word, 1 day crashing is possible. If you want to reduce 1 day, the highest path is equal to next path. Over. Whenever you identify the day of crashing, go for calculation of total cost. Total cost of project equal to, already we are having a formula. Already I said a formula. This is a formula. Total cost, total normal cost plus critical duration into indirect cost, cash and duration into cost slope. This is a formula. By using this formula, I have making 5800 plus 9, 5800 plus 9 into 2000. That means it is a first one, they not at all crash. Now here rupees 23,800, which means if project is completed with 9 days, the total cost incurred is 23,800. Let us go to critical path, identification of critical path. This is critical path over. Now, these activities right here, this is known as crashing table. 1-2, 2-5. Because 9 decreased to 8. 1-2 cost slope, how much? Already we have calculated in above cost slope. 1-2 cost slope is 2000. The cost slope is here 1000. This is 1000. Like that. 2-5 cost slope is 1500. Now, which activity is crashed first, reduced first? It is a condition. Which activity cost slope is less? This activity duration crashed first. Number of days crashed. How many days crashed? 1 day. How it was obtained? Normal time minus crash time. Already in a given problem where we are having normal time 4, crash time 3, 4 minus 3, 1 day is crashing. 1 day. Like that 2 days. First this day, 1 day is crashing. That means 1-2 activity crashing at first because this activity cost slope is less. Yes. How to reduce the activity? With a procedure. The technical word is iteration. If you want to go to adopted A, decrease the activity procedure, it will be known as iteration 1. Since the cost slope of activity 1 dash 2 least, hence it will be crashed by 1 day. 1 dash 2 here. Already 4 is there. 4 decreased by 1, obtained 3. The remaining are as usual. Again, you will go to calculate the new cost of project. Repeated. Total normal cost already we are having. Total normal cost. This is 5,800. Total normal cost 5,800 plus critical duration. Now it is critical duration is 8. This is a 8. All are less 7. 8 into 2,000 indirect cost given in the problem. Again, how much duration was already crashed? 1 day already crashed. This is 1 day already crashed. 1 into cost so 22,800. Again, various paths. 1 dash 2 dash 5 7 days. 1 dash 2 dash 4 dash 5 7 days. 1 dash 3 dash 4 dash 5 7 days. Now here all paths are equal. The problem is over. It is completed after completion of the total cost. Total cost is how much? 22,300. This is known as critical path, various paths. Here again explanation. Iteration 1 dash 2 reduced by 1 3. Cost, total cost 5,800 plus 1 into 1,000 already crashed plus 8 into 2,000. Now it is highest 8, 22,800. Various paths here. 8, 7, 7. Again 8 reduced to 7. How many days decreased? 1 day. Now it is 1 day crashing. Let us go to crashing table. 1 dash 2, 1,000 already crashed. No double crashing. Only 2 dash 5 is there. It will be crashed 2 times. Enough is only 1 time. I will go to take reduction. Go for iteration 2. Crashing an activity 2 dash by 1 day. Already is over. Now it is 1 activity will go to reduce. Possibility is 2 days. But enough is only 1 day. Now 2 dash 5. 2 dash 5. Already 5 is there. 1 reduced to 4. Immediately new cost. 5,800. Already bring it. 1,000 into 1. 1,500 into 1. Now the highest path is 7. 7 into 2,000. 22,300. All paths are equal. There is no further crashing. The total cost is 22,300. That is, whenever if you want to finish the total project within 7 days, the total cost required is 22,300. Thank you.